into what is telehealth, what is online physical therapy, like what does that mean to you and how do you define it, and what is telehealth? What does that
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. So I view telehealth, what used to be called telemedicine, that's now kind of been um, reworded to telehealth because it incorporates all really healthcare professions that can use remote-based services to deliver care. Telehealth is really that broad umbrella term to refer to any sort of delivery of education, awareness, interventions, counseling, really any form of treatment or to people remotely. And whether it's video, audio, whether it's live like we're doing right now, or whether it's inputting the data and then sending it out so that people can then access it at times that are more convenient for them, right? But what you call like synchronous versus asynchronous delivery of information, right? It can be store and forward, or it can be live like we're doing right now, and it just makes it so much easier for people.
Absolutely. And since you've been doing that, and telephysio is 100% telehealth, if I understand correctly, where have you seen some of the biggest benefits, or I guess better stated, the clients that you're seeing, what type of feedback are you getting about telehealth from them?
Yeah, the feedback is what I was hoping it would be, which is that it's super convenient for them, right? That they can schedule that. So I schedule in the evenings, on the weekends, right? Times that are a little more convenient for like students or working people. And what I hear a lot from them that is so nice to not have to not have to leave work early, not have to take school or other, take time away from school or other commitments to have to drive to a physical location that might be out of the way for them. Instead, they can go to where they are comfortable and receive care. And so that's the big feedback I get from them, is how convenient and how almost like a luxurious service it is to kind of
Yeah,
do it where they are, kind of meet them where they are instead of having them meet where we are, kind of flipping the script, flipping the table. And people really like that, and they really like non-traditional hours. They like
absolutely.
evening times, and they like weekends. And really, traditional clinics are only open Monday through Friday. And people in the clinic all the time would ask, yeah, if you guys were open on a Saturday, that'd be great. I'd love to bring my kid by on a Saturday. And I always hate telling them, like, oh, I'm sorry, we don't offer that. And not only do we not offer that, but no one in the area really offers that. So having availability during non-traditional hours, I think, is really helpful for people getting into telehealth. It helps to lower that barrier.
Yeah, it seems like it totally removes pretty much all barriers to entry, a high quality solutions. I mean, you don't have to take time off. You don't have to find a babysitter. You don't have to take time away from your family. And like you said, healthcare, like all our businesses, has typical business hours, but due to active lifestyles, the times in which people can actually receive the care doesn't always fall within those times. Like with the population that I work with, runners, the running population, myself included as a runner, is notorious for never wanting to forego my long training run or really any training. So if I have to take an hour or 30 minutes to go drive to a clinic, do a session for 30 minutes to an hour, drive back home, that eats into my training time. And with only so much time in a day, an hour, hour and a half, where an hour of that is travel time, eats into the training. And so I've actually seen that in my population with the runners, where what they're seeing is the biggest benefit is they can now actually fit in the care that they need instead of just ignoring it until they crash and burn 2, 3, 4 months into their running season, which most runners tend to do. It just brings it right to them. And you can actually plan your healthcare around your lifestyle instead of getting rid of your lifestyle to get healthcare. It seems to be, this allows us to flip that script as well, where healthcare seemed to be this pie in the sky thing that you could potentially get if you had the luxury of time. But now with online physical therapy and telehealth, no, you can actually now bring that in, and it becomes a part of your lifestyle.
So in addition to that benefit of telehealth, right? You know, in terms of the convenience and the accessibility that people love about it, what else are you finding in terms of the other benefits people get from it in terms of like an outcomes perspective? Because we all really, I mean, all we're looking for is outcomes, right? Like,
Yep.
sure, I can kind of market what I do in terms of the tools that I have, but really it's the outcomes that you and I are looking for when we're injured, as well as other people. So what have you found when working with your clientele in terms of the outcomes with using telehealth?
Yeah, it's a great question. And quite honestly, the feedback that I keep getting and that I've seen clinically with it is you can still get the same outcomes with telehealth because the services and the expertise that I or you or any other skilled therapist can provide isn't immediately taken away just because we're not in person. So the clients that I've worked with, they consistently mention how surprised they are at the quality of care they can still receive through video. They weren't quite sure what to expect, but every time when we're done, they're always astonished by, wow, I didn't realize how in-depth you could truly get. I didn't expect to be able to have you correct X exercise the way you did. I had no idea that you could truly be as thorough as you were, because I've only experienced in-person therapy. Have you had the
Mhm.
same type of experience with that?
Yeah, yeah, I find that when people choose to sign up for telehealth, they are foregoing already the traditional model of PT by one, doing it online, but two, sacrificing a lot of things that people come to know about physical therapy, which is a lot of passive type of care like massage and heat and electrical stimulation and ultrasound, and kind of relying on the structure of going to a place to receive treatment. What I find is that now the mentality has shifted as well. So if they're coming on to online or telehealth physical therapy, um, they're much already more motivated and already more. It has to be more of an active approach to their treatment. And I always find that active approaches to treatment yield quicker results. So they're
Yep.
more active because all they're doing are things that I'm instructing them to do. So they have to do it themselves. They don't rely on my hands to do it. Now, if a hands-on treatment is needed, then it's always appropriate, and you have to kind of know when to refer out to a local therapist in their area if they need a hands-on treatment. But for the most part, it's so active on their part that the adherence improves, the diligence to their program improves, and you're seeing quick results, just as quick as you'd be in a clinic.
Yep.
Um, but now, because it's more active, it almost is more self-empowering, right?
Mm-hmm.
Less of a dependency on someone else and more empowering, knowing that you did it yourself. And I think that yields some really long-term results and is more sustainable that way.
Yeah, I'm happy you touched on that. That's just a really good point as far as encouraging the client to, by the time they're done with your care, that they've also developed the habit structure to continue these healthy habits going forward, to not only keep them healthy, but try to minimize injury risk going forward as well. And like you said, empowering them as PTs at the end of the day, that's truly the outcome that we're hopefully looking for. You know, because you can go one of two ways. You can create an environment to where they're 100% dependent on you for everything, and you can go the other way. So there's likely in that middle ground where you want to be that support structure for them to help them through the periods that they need help with and coach them through no matter
Right.
what they need coaching with, but also allow them to increase their self-efficacy so they can confidently get back to, in your case, skiing, and in my case, running, hiking, and all that. I want them to get to a point to where they can handle that on their own, but they also know if something comes up, if there's an issue, that they can reach out directly and we can continue to coach them as they continue to be empowered afterwards. I'm really happy you brought that up.
Yeah, and kind of, I mean, the really the list of benefits I think can just, as we talked about, for me, it just continues to like get longer and longer. I think another benefit, which I'm sure you see with your population, um, is the ability to give them advice immediately after an injury, right? To
Yep.
know one, if there's something more serious going on, if it brings up any red flags that require an immediate referral to them to go elsewhere, or to let them know that, hey, you're safe to continue with conservative treatment or with physical therapy. I think getting to them online allows us to get to them and in front of them much sooner than they would be going to a clinic. We can really serve as more as that first line of defense after an injury, and can really provide them with the education they need, the information they need to know if they need the conservative route, or if they need to go and seek a referral from another healthcare practitioner.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously with our skill set, even through video, you can pretty quickly determine which individual may need to be referred out. And as we both know, the likelihood of that's extremely low, but it does happen. The vast majority of injuries can be successfully treated with our skill set, but hey, part of that is recognizing when it's not and getting them